have a new palette for us to look at. It is from Adept Cosmetics, and it is their Amunet palette. Now, I am just going to do some swatches and tell you what I initially think, and I'm planning on using this palette during the week, so I will make sure to have like some looks and stuff on my Instagram, and then come back at the end of the week and kind of tell you what I'm thinking. Anyway, so this was on pre-order. I can't even remember. Was it in like July or something? I don't even recall. But they let you know it was on pre-order and they were going to ship things out in August. And so I got my indicator that it had been shipped, and it arrived pretty quickly after the shipping notification. What I will say that I noticed in this is my third palette from Adept, their packaging is really good. So it's like put in like tissue paper, then bubble wrap, then a box, then another box. So, I mean, you got to work for it to get it out of all the packaging, but it does seem to keep it relatively safe. So here is the palette. Once you get it out of all of the packaging, it does have this sort of like plastic covery thing on it, and that is where you will find some of the information about the palette. So I think one thing is that they don't often have some of the usual information that you would expect on the palette. They have it on the plastic part of the palette, so you can see that this peels off. Oop. No, you can't see it because I didn't peel it off. There we go. Okay. So before I take it off, I will tell you what it says on here. So it has the palette name, Amunet, and it has like a little underline. It's in gold lettering. And down here on this side, it actually says eyeshadow and pressed pigment palette. So oftentimes when I read pressed pigment, I automatically sort of think, dude, a lot is happening. I automatically sort of think that that means some of the shadows might stain a bit or be like not safe for the eye area. Then on the back, it does say distributed by Adept Cosmetics, made by Adept in China. It also says do a patch test first when trying a new product and discontinue use if irritation occurs. And then it says that a couple of shades, 3 shades, Seth Pata on her, are not intended for use around the immediate eye area. Net weight is 16.2 grams or 0.57 ounces. It's good for 24 months and it is cruelty-free and vegan. Actually, I'm thinking of the website, and I want to say that I saw something, I'm going to double check, where it says it's not vegan anymore. So I'm going to look at that and let you know. So let's take this off. So you see all of that was on here. It's not on here. Taking this out. Once you open it, you've got the shades. You've also got this plasticky thing. And you have still another plastic cover on the mirror. Now, I'm going to keep this because if you saw a previous video I did, this is something that I can use to help pick up my single, what is happening? Help pick up my single shadows. So if you have like a magnet and you put this over your single shadow, you can pick it up that way so that if you have like nails and stuff like that, you're not digging into your eyeshadow pans. All right, so I think this packaging is really pretty. Like, I love that deep, like, burgundy color that we have going on here. This is very similar to all the other palettes that I have from Adept. I have the Plain Jane and the Heather Austin. Looks kind of like just the same. So let me read to you a bit about the palette, and then we will move on to swatches. So when you go onto the Adept Cosmetics website and you look at the palette or look up this palette, you do initially see that there are two versions. There's a light version and there's a dark version. The difference in the difference between the light and the dark is this shade here, Set. This is the dark version that I have, so it has that darker shade, but in the light version, it looks like it's more of like a tan or maybe like even an ecru shade. It's a very light, so I don't know how they decided on the color exchange. Like, I'm thinking of when Sydney Grace does a light version and a deep version. I often find that the deep version is just like deeper or darker shades of the light shade. In the Amunet palette, it seems like it's like two different shades. Let me know if that's what you're experiencing. So there is a please read before buying section, which I appreciate. It does remind me of, like, you know, when you get something that you have to put together and the instructions are always like, read instructions before trying to put it together, and you never read the instructions. I'm not the only one. Don't play. I know I'm not the only one. But I have taken to trying to be more on top of things and reading stuff before I purchase. So I did read this before purchasing. It does say that the ship time is 2 to 10 business days, Monday through Friday, to receive your tracking number. I assume that's after purchasing. It goes on to say that this palette has been reformulated and is no longer vegan. So remember, I read that it was vegan, like from the plastic packaging. It seems like that this palette is no longer considered vegan. So if that's important to you, that's important to note. Shades Set, Pata, and On Her are considered pressed pigments in the USA and are not suitable for the eye area. Now it says USA customers only, and it is safe for the eye area in the EU. The shimmers will require a good eyeshadow primer to avoid glitter fallout. They said it was like a limit of 1 per customer. The palette contains 5 mattes, 3 beautiful shimmers, 1 satin shimmer, and 2 multi-chrome shimmers, and 1 duochrome shimmer. It says it's free of glitter and mineral oil. The dark version has a dark blue set. It is a magnetic palette. The pans are 23 millimeters. You can remove them. The nice thing is that if you do remove the pans, the shade names are already labeled for you on the back. We will double check. They say to please be aware of the following. Some shades in this palette will stain fair to medium skin tones, and an oil-based makeup remover is recommended. The base packaging is made of 82% upcycled plastic to help divert waste from landfills and reduce the end user responsibility associated with recyclable or compostable materials. There may be a chemical smell when opening the box. I did not notice that. This smell is a UV coat that we use to protect the faux leather and will soon fade. I'm assuming they mean the smell will fade. I didn't notice a smell. I don't know. Note, variations in color settings, lighting, and qualities of phone, tablet, computer screens, etc. may cause colors to appear different in person. Please use our product photos as a reference guide only. And it also tells you please be sure of your purchase, as this item is not refundable, but you can contact them if you have any questions. Now, once you continue reading, after please read before buying, there's an ingredients list. It again says that Seth Pta On Her pressed pigments are not safe for the eye area if you're in the USA. It also encourages you to perform a patch test before using the product and discontinue if any signs of irritation occur. To avoid shimmer or glitter fallout, we suggest using a good primer prior to applying the eyeshadow. Then they have a product video. they list affiliate codes. They do tell you about the return and cancellation policy, blah, 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 blah. Now, I am going to go ahead and do some swatches on my arm. I'm considering using a primer for some of the shimmers. I don't typically, so I think what I'll do is I will swatch them, and if it seems like they're not really coming up, then I'll just add a primer and kind of like re-swatch them. Now, it took me a while to get all of myself together because I wanted to look up the correct pronunciation of the names. They are names, I believe all of them are names of Egyptian gods and goddesses. And I mean, being that we in America tend to like bastardize every language that isn't English, even though we don't speak English very well. Anyway, I wanted to try my best to use the correct pronunciations. So keep in mind that I was taught the Queen's English, and I also am from LA or California. No, LA is in California. So excuse any blunders. I'm going to try my best not to make them though. And if I do misstep, please let me know in the comments so that I can use the appropriate pronunciation. Now, I did try to stick with the same information, like the same information source. So I'm going to, at least if I mispronounce, be mispronouncing consistently. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to clean off this area and get ready to do some swatches. And actually, before I do that, they did say that these are magnetic and could be taken out. So what I want to do is to make sure that, yep, got that, took it out. And on the back is the name. Can you see that? The name of the shade, which is really nice. So if you want to create your own palette, you can go ahead and do that and not have to worry about putting like a label or anything on the shade because it is already on there for you. So be right back. Okay, so hopefully this angle works for you. There is a like scratch here. It's not going nowhere. It's very consistent. So here is the outer packaging. It is that faux leather that they talked about, and it's sort of this burgundy. It's a really rich color, really pretty. And on the front here, you have the name of the palette, Amunet. In my research, it showed that Amunet is an ancient Egyptian primordial goddess and the goddess of air. Not sure if that's correct. Another name for Amunet is Int, but that is the name of the palette, and it is super appropriate because the names of the shades are all Egyptian gods and goddesses. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let's see. Now, this first shade here is Osiris. Osiris is the god of the deceased and also of agriculture. That was one swipe. That was really nice. This next shade here is Horus, and Horus is the god of war and the sky, and often associated with protecting pharaohs. I bet those would look great together. Now, the next shade here is Set, and this is the one that is different in the light and the deep versions. And Set is the god of chaos, violence, deserts, and storms. Now, from what I learned, word on the street is that Osiris and Seth were brothers. And they had a sister named Isis. But Isis and Osiris got together. But the thing is, Seth killed Osiris because Seth wanted like the inheritance, right? So Isis brought back Osiris, brought him back to life, put him back together because he had been cut up and stuff. And that is how like Isis and Osiris created Horus. The thing is though, the one thing she couldn't bring back was his member, you know, the thing that would, his peen. Couldn't bring it back, so she like created one. And now we got Horus. So Horus and Set were like rivals, bitter enemies throughout the whole time. That's what I had found out, but let me know if you know something different. Now, the next shade is Ptah. I actually thought it would be pronounced Ta. So let me know if you know of another pronunciation, but several places pronounced it Ptah. Ptah was the god whose breath gave life to everything. That just sounds like such a nice person. So it said that Ptah created all other deities and is the god of craftspeople and architects. So god of folks who make stuff, who put stuff together. The next shade here is Ra. And it's spelled different ways depending on Egyptian or Greek mythology. Here it's spelled R-E. I've seen it a lot as R-A. I know a bit more about this god because part of my name, according to my dad, comes from that. Low key though, my dad was he was like at the club when I was born. So I don't know how much like ownership he can take over the name. But okay, Father. Now, Ra is the god of sun, heaven, power, and light, which, you know, sounds exactly like me. The last shade in this row is Hathor, and she is the goddess of love, beauty, music, dancing, fertility, and pleasure. And she's said to be the protector of women. And she's gorgeous. The next shade here is Anubis, and Anubis is the god of cemeteries and embalming and the protector of graves. You always need that. You have somebody to protect the graves. This next matte shade here is Tote, and I've also seen it pronounced Thought, but I don't know. But I'm gonna go with Tote, which is the most recent pronunciation I viewed, and he is the god of writing and wisdom, as well as the moon, sacred texts, maths, and sciences. I'm guessing he was helpful in writing my dissertation because I know I was praying to everybody to get that one done. So far, this is probably my least favorite matte, just given how light it is. Now, on her is the god of war. Always need one of those. Next we have Circuit, and this is the Goddess of Protection. I love how these sort of like topper duochromies are goddesses. I mean, of course. Nephthys is the goddess of air and the head of the family. And then lastly, we have Imhotep, and he's one of the only like non-royal Egyptians that were deified after death. He was considered to be an architect and a scholar, and he's the one that comes in peace. He was a great author of wisdom texts, and especially great at being a physician. So this is the Amunet palette. Let me close that so you can get a bit of a better look. We've got all of the shades swatched here. Several shimmers, couple of dual chromes, multi-chromes, and some mattes. Let me know if you have a favorite of these. I'm definitely going to play around with this during the week. I am really looking forward to using these two shades and this. Oh, that's so pretty. They're all really pretty. Now it is there's a lot of cool tones going on, which I thought I would feel intimidated by, but actually it just looks like a really pretty palette. So I'm hoping that it performs well on the eyes. I will say that the swatches seemed pretty easy. Everything swatched really smoothly. I think the matte showed up pretty well for just like one swipe, and so I'm assuming that they're also buildable. I know some people did not like their Adept's previous formula for their mattes, and it sounds like they have reformulated them. And listen, this is so pretty. I cannot wait to put this on my eyes and then come back and let you all know what I think. I think I'm gonna like it though. So that is it for now. I am excited to play around with this palette. Like the colors, can we... You get the picture. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna take a picture of it. I'm gonna take a picture. So there you have it. These are the shades from the Amunet palette. And I will be using the palette over this week. I'm really excited about it. What else? I gotta go because I'm realizing the wire in my underwire brassiere is literally trying to take me out. So I need to go ahead and we need to take this off and get rid of it. Hopefully some of this was helpful. Let me know if you got this palette or how you're enjoying, and how you're enjoying the mattes. If you've been able to experience the previous matte formula, let me know if there's a difference that you can see. Please also let me know as well if I mispronounced anything, because I definitely want to correct that ASAP, if so. And I hope you're taking care of yourself and your loved ones. I appreciate those of you who remind me to take care of myself. I'm trying, okay? I'm trying. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you all, and I will see you next time.